What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown video for UFC Vegas 88. We got Tai Tuivasa going against Marcin Tybura. And yeah, I actually like this card a decent amount. I think it's a great card, great matchmaking, not the most name value, but I think there's a lot of fun fights. I think we're going to get some finishes, some violence, so always looking forward to that. And yeah, looking forward to this card from a betting perspective. Before we get into it, if you guys could please do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe here to the channel if you have not already. Be on the lookout for Best Bet on Fight Day going live at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. I do want to shout out the winner for the contest. Last week we did the plus money prop contest. Only one person got a prop right, and shout out to that one person that wins automatically. But Bobby TMF, he had a Dustin Poirier round 2 knockout. So yeah, he got it. Shout out to Bobby TMF. Bobby, hit me up on Twitter or Instagram with your PayPal or Cash App, and I'll get you your winnings there. But yeah, he was the only one that got a prop right. Last week was kind of tough, so we'll give you guys a pass. All right. I say we get into it. Going to be breaking down these fights from a betting perspective and a betting perspective only to do a full card breakdown if you guys want a more in-depth look early on in the week. But we're going to kick it off with Charalampos Gregorio going against Chad Enheliger. And yeah, I'm not touching this fight. You know, there has been some money coming in on Enheliger throughout the week. Enheliger was sitting around plus 185, plus 175 for a while. Monies came in on him. He's now sitting at plus 145. I don't know. I've just never been really high on Chad Enheliger ever. This guy's now 37 years old at bantamweight. I'm not high on Gregorio. Like, I wouldn't lay minus 170 on Gregorio, but I'm also not running to the window to lay any money on Enheliger as well. So, I don't know. It could be a close fight. Maybe Enheliger's able to get a late finish, but this is one I'm just staying away from. Next, we got Jacqueline Amarim going against Corey McKenna. Staying away from this one as well, but you know, the line movement on this one's pretty interesting. So I was doing some research last week, and I saw Corey McKenna at like slight plus money, like plus 110, and now she's minus 175. Like, I'm not sure what's going on. Like, this fight probably a coin flip. So I am picking McKenna, though. I think she has, you know, shown the better cardio. I think she can win minutes on top, but I would not be trusting McKenna at minus 175. Another pass for me. So yeah, passing on these first two fights. Josh Culibao, Danny Silva. Yeah, Danny Silva was one of the 3 fighters that missed weight. He looked terrible on the scale. I didn't like that. But what I do like here is violence. I think this is going to be potential fight of the night here. It's because it's a Danny Silva fight. This is a guy that's going to walk forward the entire time like a zombie, no regard to his own safety. And Josh Culibao has a ton of power. He's dropped a lot of opponents in the UFC, and Danny Silva is very defensively irresponsible. I could see Josh Culibao landing a big shot, maybe getting a club and sub here. And then on the flip side, I can also see Danny Silva maybe overwhelming Josh Culibao. We've seen Josh Culibao slow down a lot in a lot of different fights as well. So the fight doesn't go to decision for a fight like this at plus money is something I really do like this week. I have 1.5 units on it at plus 124. I think it's going to be an all-out war, and I think somebody's getting served here. Was going to maybe look at like a Danny Silva money line or like a Danny Silva maybe 2-3, but after seeing the weigh-ins, I'm staying away from the Danny Silva side. Next, we got Thiago Moises going against Mitch Ramirez. Yeah, this should be a good spot for Thiago Moises. I mean, he's somebody you don't typically want to trust at minus 400, but you take a look at his losses. When he's losing to very good fighters. He's losing to guys like Joel Alvarez. He's losing to guys like Islam Makhachev. He's losing to guys like even Damir Ismagulov, Beneil Dariush. When he's losing to some of the best guys in the division, and I don't think Mitch Ramirez really fits that build, obviously. But yeah, Mitch is probably going to come out hot. He's probably going to try to take off Moises' head. If you like Mitch, you probably like him KO1, which is plus 1,800, which I actually thought was interesting. But I think it's a levels fight here. I think, you know, Moises is going to show that it's a levels fight. I think Moises is eventually going to get this fight down to the mat in the first or second round potentially and get that sub. So yeah, I'm on the early Moises sub props, 0.75 units, Moises sub 1 plus 410, and then 0.5 units, Moises sub 2 plus 700. I also don't mind the under 1.5. You take a look at Mitch Ramirez, he's only been over 1.5 rounds once in his career, so I think this fight does end early one way or another, and I think it's Moises dragging this fight down to the mat and getting that sub there early on. Next, we got Jafel Filho going against Ode Osborne. Was kind of struggling to find a way to kind of play this fight because I like violence here quite a bit. You know, this is a fight where you know, probably on paper one of the most violent fights on the card outside, I guess, the main event, Tuivasa Tybura. But Jafel Filho is a killer-be-killed fighter who's been to decision like once in his last like 13 fights. It's crazy. This guy's not been the distance in a very, very long time. Ode Osborne is also a killer-be-killed fighter that really goes the distance. You know, Ode Osborne has 6 losses, 5 of which coming inside the distance. I think somebody's getting served here. But yeah, when I was looking at a way to attack this fight, I was thinking maybe Filho 2-3, but I think it could happen in 1. We've seen Ode Osborne finish in the first round several times in the UFC, so don't know if I love the 2-3 for Filho. So what I just did was I put a big bet on the fight doesn't go to decision. I have 3.5 units on it, minus 235. I think somebody's getting served here. I didn't want to mess around with the round props. I do lean Filho late, but like I said, if he gets Ode Osborne down in the first round, like he could sub him in the first round as well. So yeah, just give me violence here. Fight doesn't go to decision. My biggest play of the week, 3.5 units, minus 235. Next, we got Josiane Nunes going against Chelsea Chandler, the 1-800-GAMBLER fight of the week. And, yeah, I actually have a bet here, believe it or not. And this reminds me a lot of the Malcolm Gordon-Jimmy Flick fight earlier this year, where it's like, man, both these fighters are just, you know, probably not UFC caliber. I think it's a very, very low-level fight, no disrespect to them, but that's kind of how I was feeling with the Jimmy Flick Malcolm Gordon fight, right? Like with Malcolm Gordon, you were like laying chalk on his inside the distance prop. With Josiane Nunes, her inside the distance is only like plus 150. But with Jimmy Flick, his inside the distance was plus 300. Chelsea Chandler, her inside the distance is plus 340. And this is a coin flip. Like, I don't know how anybody can be confident in either fighter here. You know, Josiane Nunes, she probably has an advantage on the feet here, but if she gets taken down once, like, the fight might be over. You know, I think Chandler's going to have a massive size advantage. We saw it at the face-offs. I think that's huge. She missed weight, which I think benefits her here. She's just much, much bigger than Josiane Nunes, and if Chandler gets on top here, it potentially could be a wrap. Like, Chandler has obviously good ground and pound, good submission game as well, and Nunes has really nothing to offer her back. So, yeah, I think Nunes maybe is able to knock her out, but if Chelsea Chandler gets on top once, I think she's very live to find the finish there. So I was looking at the props, and I saw Chelsea Chandler inside the distance plus 340, which kind of surprised me. So I unfortunately took a shot on it, and 0.75 units to win almost 2.5 on Chelsea Chandler inside the distance. Ugly, but we'll see what happens there. Next, we got Mike Davis going against Natan Levy. I like Davis here quite a bit, as does everybody. He's now a minus 500 favorite, and I was saying to myself earlier in the week, I mean, he was like minus 300. I was like, man, if Mike Davis was more active and stuff, like, I would be max betting him here. But yeah, I still do like him. Like, as long as he's coming in here ready to go, which I think he is, I think he's just going to go out there and beat the brakes off of Natan Levy in every way which possible. Like, I think Davis is better in every single aspect of MMA, the striking, the wrestling, the grappling, even the cardio, and Natan Levy just looked terrible at weigh-ins, like awful. I was watching a stream earlier today of the weigh-ins, and Natan Levy was up weighing in, and I thought my stream froze because Natan Levy was like standing in like the same position for like 5 minutes. Like, what's going on? Like, it was the slowest weigh-in I think I've ever seen in my life. He looks slower than OSP up there. So yeah, Natan Levy had a very, very tough weight cut. He missed weight by 0.5 pound. That's not good. He was not medically cleared to try to cut that extra 0.5 pound. So yeah, I think Natan Levy might have had a tough cut, and yeah, I think Davis can finish him here. I think Davis is very live for a finish. He's minus 500. He is a finisher. I know Davis went to decision with Slava and Mason Jones, but those are two very tough guys. And I know Natan Levy's never been finished, but he's never fought Mike Davis. So I think Davis is live for that finish. Could be early, could be late. I was thinking late, but you know, could be early as well. I think it could be sub. I think it could be knockout. But if it's not a finish, I think it's like a 30-26, 30-25 beatdown. But I think the finish is very much on the table for a minus 500 favorite here. And it's big plus money. You know, plus 165 for Mike Davis inside the distance. I have 1.5 units on it at plus 165 there. I think he finishes Natan Levy. Next, we got Gerald Meerschaert going against Bryan Barberena. Yeah, I like Meerschaert here. Inside the distance, more specifically, those 2-3 props. Meerschaert's typically a slow starter. Could he sub Barberena in the first round? Maybe. But like I said, he's typically a slow starter. He doesn't really get to that grappling early in fights. I think it's going to drag out a little bit, and I think Meerschaert's going to eventually get him down or hurt him on the feet and submit him in the second or third round. So I think Meerschaert inside the distance at plus money is very solid, considering he's minus 240. He's finished every single one of his wins in the UFC. Meerschaert's never won a decision, which is crazy because this guy's been in the UFC forever. But yeah, Meerschaert inside the distance is solid, but I have 0.75 units on Meerschaert round 2 plus 470, and then a half unit on Meerschaert round 3, which is plus 1,000, which I thought was weird because that's literally how Meerschaert wins a lot of his fights. But yeah, give me Meerschaert 2-3 props. Macy Chiasson going against Pantokianzad. Nothing sticking out here. The pick is Chiasson, probably by decision, but nothing really sticking out there. Isaac Dalgarian going against Christian Rodriguez. Yeah, so a spot that stuck out to me earlier in the week was that the fight doesn't go to decision. It was minus 115, which I know a lot of people are liking the overs and like Dalgarian by decision, which I don't get it at all. I mean, if you add up Dalgarian's entire career, pro career, you'd barely get 12 and a half minutes total. Like, this is a guy that's getting in and he's getting out. And there's question marks with Dalgarian. Like, what does he look like in the second or third round? You'll hear from everybody. Apparently, he has very good cardio. We'll have to see. But yeah, he's training in Colorado. So you would think he would, but we've never seen it. We've never seen him in the second or third round, and we've never seen him battle any adversity, any resistance. I don't think I've ever seen him punched in the face. So yeah, I think it's a solid test here for Dalgarian. I think Dalgarian's live to finish this fight early. I think if he can get on top, his ground and pound's vicious. And if it turns out that Dalgarian does have like 3-round cardio, I think he could probably finish Rodriguez in the second or third round. So I like violence here. I think it's Dalgarian early. Could be late as well, but if Dalgarian does slow down, if Dalgarian does get caught in something when he's shooting for takedowns, I think Rodriguez late props are kind of interesting as well. So 1.5 units, fight doesn't go to decision, minus 115 for a guy that's never seen the second round. I mean, I gotta take it. I mean, there's a lot of question mark, there's a lot of unknowns. Fight doesn't go to decision at a pick 'em, doesn't make a ton of sense. And then also C-Rod round 2, round 3 props are big plus money, 1,400 plus 1,400 for round 2, and then plus 2,200 for round 3. So I put accordion on those as well. But yeah, I think somebody's getting finished here. Next, we got Kennedy Nzechukwu going against Ovince St. Preux. Yeah, I think it's probably Kennedy round 1. But, round 1's like plus 100, plus 105. Round 2, round 3, they pay a lot more. And I was kind of looking into it more. And, Kennedy has 0 finishes in the first round, which, like, that could change here. Maybe OSP's that washed. But I kind of have a feeling, Kennedy might start a little bit slower. Because he tried to start fast in his last fight against Dustin Jacoby. And it ended up with him getting knocked out. I think he's going to be a little bit smarter here, take his time, and hopefully, like he usually does, get that second or third round finish like he typically does. So, like I said, could be in the first round. It would not shock me in the slightest. But, the round 2, round 3 props are solid, I think, for Kennedy. That's typically how he gets it done. I have 0.75 units on Kennedy round 2 plus 420, and then a half unit on Kennedy round 3 plus 750. I think he drags us out and finishes OSP. And then I also have a quarter unit shot on Kennedy by submission, which I think is interesting. We've seen OSP submitted, I think, 3 times in his career. Most notably was that Ilir Latifi submission, which was a standing guillotine, and we kind of saw Kennedy do that to Devin Clark not too long ago. So I could see something like that. I could see maybe Kennedy hurting OSP on the feet, getting a club and sub as well. Kennedy's obviously been working a ton on his grappling, so I think the Kennedy sub at plus 1,000 is very interesting, considering his inside the distance prop is minus 400 on some books. So I do lean KO, obviously, but the submission prop at plus 1,000 is kind of nuts to me. The KO props like minus 250, something like that. You can't play a KO prop at minus 250. So taking a quarter unit shot on that sub prop for Kennedy, and then the 2-3 props as well. Next, we got Bryan Battle going against Angelusa. Yeah, nothing really sticking out here for me. I was going to maybe look at betting Angelusa, actually. I think this fight's a lot closer than people think. I think if this fight does go the distance, it's going to be very close. And I think Lusa can even win minutes with the wrestling. But what is kind of holding me off is the cardio of Lusa, which I think is a big thing to mention. Because this is a guy in Lusa who slows down in pretty much every fight. And Bryan Battle's not a guy you can really afford to slow down against. So I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, maybe Lusa, might get tired as the fight goes on. And once you get tired against Bryan Battle, he makes you pay, and he makes you pay by snatching up a neck. So I could see a situation where Lusa gets tired, shoots in a sloppy takedown, and gets his neck snatched up. We've seen Battle do that plenty of times. This guy's won half his fights by submission. So I was looking at Battle 2-3, which are decent numbers. But Battle 2-3 sub definitely caught my eye because I think that's very much on the table for Battle. I put a quarter unit on each. Battle sub 2 plus 1600. Battle sub 3 is plus 2000. I think those are very much on the table this week. I think it probably goes the distance, but if Angelus is extremely tired, you know, could snatch up a neck there at big, big plus money. And then finally, Tai Tuivasa going against Marcin Tybura. I think you can play this one of two ways. If you like Tuivasa, you like the 1-2 KO. If you like Tybura, you like the probably 2-3-4 KO. I'm on the Tuivasa side. I think it's a get-right spot for him. This guy's on a 3-fight skid. He's going against Tybura, who's just not dangerous on the feet at all. I think he's going to show him no respect and try to get him out of there early. And that's what you kind of got to do against Tybura. Tybura is a guy that will try to kind of Homer Simpson you at the heavyweight division, which has actually worked out for him in quite a few fights. But, you know, trying the Homer Simpson approach against a guy that hits as hard as Tuivasa, I'm not sure it works. So yeah, I like the 1-2 for Tuivasa. Tuivasa has 8 wins in the UFC, 7 of which come under 1.5 rounds. So yeah, I think it's 1-2 here. So 0.75 units round 1 KO for Tuivasa plus 275. And then a half unit Tuivasa round 2 KO plus 750. And then, like I said, if you like Tybura, you probably like the 2-3 and maybe round 4 props for him there. So there you guys have it. Going really prop heavy this week, and I quickly go through it. I know people love the recaps at the end, so let me recap all my bets here. Let's see. So we got Culibao Silva, fight doesn't go the distance, 1.5 units, plus 124. Moises sub 1 and sub 2, plus 410 and plus 700. 0.75 units on the sub 1 and then a half unit on the sub 2. The Filio Osborne fight doesn't go the distance. My biggest play of the week, 3.5 units, minus 235. Unfortunately, took a shot on Chandler inside the distance, 0.75 units, plus 340. Hopefully my Jimmy Flick type play of the week. Mike Davis inside the distance, 1.5 units, plus 165. Gerald Meerschaert, round 2, 0.75 units, plus 470. Gerald Meerschaert, round 3, 0.5 units, plus 1,000. We got Dalgarian Rodriguez fight doesn't go. Minus 115, 1.5 units. Rodriguez, round 2 and round 3, quarter unit on each. Plus 1,400, round 2, plus 2,200, round 3. We got Kennedy, round 2, 0.75 units, plus 420. Kennedy, round 3, 0.5 units, plus 750. Kennedy sub, quarter unit, plus 1,000. We got Battle sub 2, sub 3, quarter unit on each. Plus 1,600 for sub 2, plus 2,000 for sub 3. And then lastly, in the main event, Tuivasa KO1, 0.75 units, plus 275. And then Tuivasa KO2, half a unit, plus 750. A lot of big plus money props. Don't have to get them all right to prop. I just have to hit, you know, 2 or 3 to have a very good night. So best of luck, everybody. Let me know what you guys like down in the comments. Be on the lookout for the Best Bet Show. Leave a like on your way out and subscribe. And we'll talk to you guys very soon. Enjoy UFC Vegas 88. See you guys later.